Welcome to this week's virtual drasha. This week we have the incredible privilege to read Parashas Emor, and the parasha begins with a series of instructions targeted towards kohanim. The Torah says, "Vayomer Hashem Moshe." Hashem says to Moshe, "Emor ala kohanim b'nei Aaron." Speak or say unto the kohanim, the sons of Aaron, "V'amarta aleim," and say unto them, "Lenefesh lo yitama ba'amav." Literally translated, a person, a kohen, should not become ritually impure, tameh, to any other individual. Now, of course, then the Torah goes on to go ahead and discuss the exceptions to this rule. So for a regular kohen, he is permitted to become tameh, to become ritually impure, to take care of the burial needs of 7 close relatives: a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a son, a daughter, and a spouse. Those are the exceptions. Kohen Gadol, the high priest, is not permitted to become tameh for anyone. Good. We're familiar with this halacha, and the Torah goes into the incredible details. There are exceptions to this rule of Meis Mitzvah, but what I want to draw your attention to is something quite fascinating. Rashi picks up on this, and if you look at the wording of the pasuk, and again, this is Perek Chaf Aleph Pasuk Aleph, chapter 21, verse 1. Listen to it again. Vayomer Moshe, Hashem says to Moshe, "Emor ala kohanim b'nei Aaron." Say to the kohanim, the sons of Aaron, "V'amarta aleim," and say unto them. Emor amarta. It's redundant. The pasuk could have just said, "Emor ala kohanim b'nei Aaron, lenefesh lo yitama ba'amav." Say to the kohanim, don't become tameh. Or Vayomer Hashem Moshe, right? Va'amarta ala kohanim lenefesh. Why do you need emor? Say va'amarta and say to them. And Rashi HaKodesh already is mechaving to this question, and Rashi says, "Emor v'amarta," something beautiful. Lahashir gidolim al kitanim. Literally translated to teach the adults that they are responsible for their children, that adults have to teach the children. So therefore, according to Rashi, the way to read the pasuk is as follows. Hashem says to Moshe, "Emor la kohanim b'nei Aaron," say to the kohanim, the adults, teach them these halachos of ritual purity and impurity, v'amarta aleim, and then those adult kohanim will then go on to go ahead and teach their own children. A beautiful and dramatic idea, right? Teach the adults, so that the adults ultimately have the ability to teach their children. Now the truth is, the Torah is not just teaching us a halacha by kohanim. Torah is teaching us a principle that applies to every parent-child relationship. What's my goal? What's my job as a parent? V'shinamtam levanecha, to teach my children. You see, often, or mistakenly often, we think that the job of education is given over to schools. I send my child, right, to a school, to a yeshiva, to Beis Yaakov, wherever they're going, right? And I assume that it's the school's job to educate my child. What we have to realize is the primary responsibility of education rests with the parent. The primary obligation to ensure that my child is conversant in Torah, that my child understands HaKadosh Baruch Hu to the best of his or her ability, that my child loves Torah, loves mitzvahs, loves to learn. That's my responsibility as a parent. The school is enlisted as a partner to the parent, but the primary responsibility for chinuch habanim v'habanos, for education of the next generation, lies with the parent. And that's the Torah Kedosha is trying to teach us. Emor la kohanim, Moshe, you teach the kohanim, and now the parents, the fathers, the kohanim, are going to go ahead and teach their sons. But it's interesting that the Torah chooses to illustrate this concept here. In other words, it's true. We have another pasuk, "V'shinamtam levanecha v'divarta bam." Teach your children, let them become conversant in Torah. But it is interesting that the Torah seeks to reinforce this concept over here by the kohanim. But it can't just be a message for kohanim, because it's a message for every single parent. I have an obligation to take what I have and to convey it over to my child. But what is the most important chinuch lesson we can give to our children? Right? It's an interesting question that I think we as parents often think about a little bit. Right? You can't teach everything to your children. Right? Again, especially in today's day and age, kids are so busy. Right? There's even a limited amount of time that parents have with their children. What's like the most important lesson that I could convey over to my children? If I had one opportunity, one chinuch moment, one teachable moment, what would it be? What lesson would I convey? And perhaps that's the Torah's trying to sensitize us to. That answer is in this pasuk. Emor ala kohanim va'amarta b'nei Aaron va'amarta aleim. If there was one lesson that adults should convey to children, that parents should convey to children, what is it? Lenefesh lo yitama ba'amav. The one lesson is, do not defile your neshama. What's the lesson? L'nefesh lo yitama ba'amav. Don't allow your nefesh to become impure. Don't allow your nefesh to become defiled in the course of your journeyings amongst your people. But what's the message? What's the lesson? And perhaps the Torah is teaching us is as follows. Life is a series of decisions. And every single thing we do has an impact on who and what we are. You see, so often in life, when we make bad decisions, sometimes I make bad decisions because I didn't know it was a bad decision. Sometimes it's what's called, chisaron yediyah. I just didn't know. It does. It happens in life. And sometimes in life, I just get so carried away by the taiva, by the desire, by the wants, that I can't resist anymore. And sometimes the reason I make bad decisions is because I think that I could isolate and kind of cocoon the impact of that bad decision. I'm going to do this thing, and it's not going to impact anything else. It's not going to have a ripple effect on anything else. So I'll do my thing, whatever that thing is now. I'll do that avera. I'll make that bad decision, and it's okay. It's okay. I could contain the fallout of it, and it won't impact the rest of my life. Dear friends, as we get older, we recognize that there is nothing further from the truth. Every decision we make, big or small, has an absolute impact on the totality of who we are and what we become. Every single decision, big or small, always has a ripple effect. Sometimes the ripple effect comes in the form of massive waves in the rest of my life. Sometimes the ripple effect is very nuanced. But there is no such thing as an action that occurs within a vacuum. Every action has an effect on who I am, what I am, in the direction of my life. But let's be clear. This is not only chas v'shalom, a lesson in the negative. This isn't only a lesson in the averas or the negative actions of life. Whatever is true, remember we always say mida tova, miruba mida ra. The positivity in Yiddishkeit always outweighs the negativity. So whatever is true for the negative is certainly true for the positive. One little mitzvah, a few moments of learning Torah, a small act of chesed, a kind word, a kind gesture. So we think, oh, that's nice. All right, I davened with a little extra kavanah today. I gave a little more tzedakah. I did a little more chesed. That's nice. It's not just nice. You can't even imagine the ripple effects that goes ahead and sends throughout your life. You can't imagine that one little act. Sometimes that one little act shifts me in just the smallest and nuanced of ways to that suddenly I'm on a new path. I don't even realize it. I didn't even realize the impact of the act. But one little act shifted me just a little bit. Perhaps that's the message that the Torah Kedosha is teaching us. What does it mean? Lahazir gidolim al kitanim. The Torah is teaching us that the primary responsibility for chinuch of children is on parents. I, as a father, have the primary responsibility to ensure that my children are armed with the right life lessons. But one second, I have a day job. I'm supposed to sit there and okay, so I partner with the yeshiva, I partner with the school, I partner, right? And the school is going to give them all the information and hopefully again instill them and reinforce all of the midos. But I, as a parent, what's the most important lesson that I can convey to my child? The most important lesson is your actions matter. Your decisions matter. L'nefesh lo yitama ba'amav. Every action is either uplifting your neshama or chas v'shalom bringing it down. Every single action is either propelling you forward or it's bringing you back. There's no such thing as standing still in life. And there's no such thing as being pariv in life. L'nefesh lo yitama ba'amav. My dear child, I ask you, I beg you, don't squander your potential. Don't miss opportunities. But most of all, never think for a moment that your actions don't matter. Everything matters. Every small step, every big step, every little decision, every big decision, everything matters. It matters in the world of chet, it matters in the world of sin, and alachas kama v'kama, it matters in the world of mitzvahs. It would be wonderful if we can give our children every single thing they needed to know in order to be successful in life. But perhaps, if we start with this, L'nefesh lo yitama ba'amov. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you a beautiful, beautiful neshama. My dear child, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you a beautiful neshama. It's pristine. It's pure. It's magnificent. As the Balatanya writes, it's chelek eloka mima'al mamish. It's incredible. So my child, all I ask you is take care of it. And just recognize whatever you do in life is going to impact it. Make good decisions and nurture it. Avoid negative decisions that will handicap or impair it. But just recognize that whatever you choose in life, your decisions will always have consequences. Your decisions will always have repercussions. Your decisions will always have a ripple effect. So my dear, beloved, heilige child, choose wisely. Wishing everyone a good Erev Shabbos and a beautiful Shabbos Kodesh.